So the last time we stopped with Harriet Martineau, and sociologists consider her the more to be a social worker, not a sociologist. After Harriet Martineau, we're gonna talk about Herbert Spencer. Okay, so Herbert Spencer, guys, first of all, he was not a sociologist. Yani his major was engineering. He was a civil engineer. But he had a lot of passion and a lot of interest about the natural sciences, of course, because of the major of his study. Then he read a lot about the social sciences. So he thought about why not trying to mix these two sciences together, the natural and the social ones. And he was influenced by Charles Darwin's theory, the evolution theory. So, in a living organism, the biological systems work together to maintain the organism's health. Okay? So, he tried to establish the same concept to the society. Like a living organism, society is a set of interdependent parts. What's interdependent, guys? What does it mean? Any
Depending on
suggestions?
each other.
Depending on each other. So, from his point of view, the society consists of separate groups, okay, or separate parts. Somehow, these groups depend on each other, okay? And the work of all of these groups will maintain the system's health, okay? This is his own point of view. So what's gonna happen if one of these parts is not fit to fulfill his role? What do you think the society will do? Eliminate this part in order to maintain the whole health of the organism. So it's a process. It's ongoing process. During this process, simply one of the parts will fall down. One of the parts is not able to fulfill his role in the society. So he will take his time, then simply this part will vanish, will go away. No problem. This is from his own point of view, by the way. Okay? And he called this theory social Darwinism. Of course, all of us, we know the theory of evolution, the evolution theory. And we used to accredit this term, survival of the fittest, to Charles Darwin. Yani I used to think that survival of the fittest, like the one we had at the beginning of this presentation, survival of the fittest will go to Charles Darwin. But in fact, guys, survival of the fittest was coined by Herbert Spencer, not with Charles Darwin. But because of the same issue, talking about the same subject, we used to call it or accredit it to Charles Darwin by mistake. But survival of the fittest was first invented and coined by Herbert Spencer, not with Charles Darwin. So social Darwinism, guys, the strongest member should not help the weak. If one of the parts in the society is not doing his job at the best way, instead of helping this weak part, no, eliminate him, delete him. Let's get rid of this weak part of the society in order to get a healthy society. Your society is better served by eliminating the unfit. From your own point of view, here I wanna hear your opinion. Do you think social Darwinism is a good way of living to eliminate the unfit members of the society or the unfit part of the society? Let me hear you. Yes, Omar.
No, I don't think so, because they are part of the society, and without them, it will sure not be complete.
Exactly. Exactly. Abdullah?
Mr. I think it only works on animals, the survival of the fittest, because an unfit animal will not do anything or won't contribute to the pack. But in humans, it's a total different point of view, because you take the wisdom from the from the mouth of the old people. You can't live without them. They have the experience and they know what to do.
And I think, Abdullah, it's also unfair to the animals. Who are we to decide who will live and who will die? We are humans. We are not gods to decide this part of the society should be eliminated and this part should be rewarded. All of us are the same, living in the same environment, like the Nazis. Do you remember the Nazis, the Holocaust? When Hitler once decided that a certain branch of the society has no right to live, from his point of view, he said that this part of the society should be eliminated, especially the Jews. And he went a little bit further. After eliminating or deleting this part of the society, he went to the gypsies and he eliminated them. And also he said, he went a little bit further. He said, every single human being with a mental or a physical illness or disability should be eliminated from the society. I do not know. Tell me, what do you think?
For humans, you're right, Mister. You can't decide who lives and who dies. But I think for animals, it's the opposite, as I said.
The animals.
Yes.
Okay. طيب, talking about this issue, Abdullah, how do you think I can simply classify this animal to be fit and unfit? What are the criteria so I can simply go to the jungle or to the forest and start killing animals? From my point of view, this animals does not or this animal does not have the right to exist.
No, Mister. It's not that you go and kill them. They will die by their nature, because if they are sick or they can't basically live their life like a fit member of the pack, they cannot survive. But them dying is a contribute to the nature, because other animals or even trees will, as you can say, have benefits of them dying.
Okay, do you know, Abdullah, from your point of view, that some extremists said, in order to get rid of this corona pandemic, let's eliminate and get rid of all of the bats around the world, so we can solve this issue, we can solve this dilemma?
Maybe, Mister, because the first coronavirus was from a bat.
Okay, Abdullah, do you know that they discovered more than 5,000 different kinds of coronaviruses out of the corona family living within the bats? And there is no problem with the bats, by the way. They used to live with each other decades ago. So the coronaviruses are simply not harming the bats. There is no problem with this issue.
I think,
Yes, they
Mr.
used
we
to it,
should
Mister.
eliminate the
Their immune
people
system
who
is good.
eat bats.
Okay, but what gonna happen to the environmental balance if we simply
It will be
eliminate one part
destroyed.
of it?
It will be destroyed, totally destroyed.
Of course, of course. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made
And
this speeches for a specific reason. Nothing is done in the environment haphazardly. So if we gonna eliminate something, something else will happen. Maybe a major one, and we have no solution for it. Maybe, Abdullah, maybe. And I said only maybe. For a specific reason, I can simply eliminate one animal. But I'm not talking about a whole branch, a whole kind of animals, because they are making for me problems. I should solve my issue. Should solve my problem. But to get rid of these animals, this is the easiest solution. And it's a temporary one. Inshallah, in the future, you're gonna face another problems. Ahmed Said.
I guess, Mister, we have to stop interacting with the bats. Like, we don't eat them, we don't get near them. That's it.
It's up to you. Do not interact with these animals. You
Yeah, I
have the
mean,
will.
the
Yes, you have the will.
world.
Of course. Not to the whole world.
The
Yani,
whole,
for a long time ago, yani decades ago, people there, the eastern side of the world, the eastern side of the world over there, they used to eat these animals.
yeah,
And
but
these
now it's
animals had these viruses a very long time ago.
طيب.
And it was said, and recent studies said, that by eating the virus, you will not be infected. I have no idea about this piece of information. They are still speculating about these facts. But recently, by trying to define the medium, how this virus transferred from bats to humans, and they suggested that this medium was the anteater over there. It's only speculations, and we are not discussing this issue, guys. It's only a point of view. Who have the right to eliminate a certain kind or a certain branch of the society? All of us living in this environment, we are equal. Nobody has the right to kill anybody else without reason or without a purpose. Ahmad, do you still wanna? Sorry for this disturbance. Sorry, it's my pet. Which I have a good admire about the mic. Sorry, guys. Anybody wanna add something else?
I just want to say, like, instead of eliminating the whole population or whole animal species, we can just like stop eating. With the people there should stop eating. That's it.
It depends. يعني we have a lot of factors regarding this issue. طيب, let me tell you something regarding our culture here in Saudi Arabia. 3 or 4 years ago, they used to have some kind of a virus, a deadly virus, out of the SARS family. And by the way, SARS is related to the corona family. All of them are the same. And this virus used to attack the camels. Okay. So after being aware of this incident, the government started to apply some kind of restriction about the transportation of camels, and if you have some, you should get some medical treatment for them in order not to be infected, and so on. So this is gonna mean that all of the people living here in Saudi Arabia will stop eating camels. They have a lot of favor, by the way, regarding this kind of food. Can you simply enforce the people to stop eating one of their favorite meals?
I myself like camels, but yeah, sometimes you have to do it instead of eliminating the whole species.
Okay, because if you have a good passion or you like this kind of food, maybe you will try to dig deeper. You will try to take extra precautions. You will try to look for solutions in order not to get rid of your favorite meal.
Maybe
The same criteria is over there. But I'm not defending China here, guys. They are responsible of the situation we are in the middle of nowadays. So back to our title. Corona is not
It
our
wasn't China, it was this small town.
Wuhan.
Yeah, it's not all of
It's in
China.
China,
Just one
حبيبي.
person.
So where is
هي
Wuhan?
China.
Wuhan
That's
is not in
generalized.
Russia.
ماليش
It's
دعوة.
China. China.
That's-
Wuhan?
بس
It's China.
Yes, yes,
بياكلوا
yes.
كل حاجة
That's-
هناك.
Yes,
That's
Wuhan
generalizing.
province is
Says-
located in China. And by the way,
It's basically-
according to their religion, according to their traditions over there, according to their customs, they had no problem with eating any living thing.
So that's basic. No, I'm talking about generalizing. We're basically saying that all Muslims are jihadis or something.
But by the way, the Chinese government is responsible too, not only Wuhan.
How?
How? I will tell you how. Because simply the first infected person with this virus was introduced to the scientific community by December. And simply the Chinese government neglected and deleted this fact and said we do not have such a deadly virus. And even the doctor who discovered this new virus was dead by this virus. Okay? Later on, after a couple of months in February, after complete 60 days, they announced it to the public. And try to imagine if we have noticed or if the international community noticed this epidemic 60 days earlier, maybe.
So they did realize before the corona came to, like for example, in the US, they realized it, and even the CBS, the news website, Fox News, they all said that there was nothing to worry about. It's worse than the flu. I mean, it's
Okay,
it's not as worse as the flu. The flu is even worse.
Because
They
Mustafa,
neglected it.
who said this piece of information? China said no problem. We do not have a deadly virus. No, it's a normal one. And we can simply handle it and we can cure it. No problem. But in
Yeah, but
February,
that's
the
the government's
international
fault.
community, yes, the international, because of China's fault.
And no, I'm
Trump-
talking about the
Trump-
US. It's their fault for not being able to protect their own country.
At what time you are talking or you are mentioning this issue about
Before the
CBS?
corona came to
January?
the US.
January, February,
No.
March,
Before that, it was before that.
before?
Yeah, before the corona came to the US, they said it was nothing. It's simpler than the flu. They neglected it,
Okay.
and now when
Do you
it
think,
and it got here and spread.
okay, Mustafa, do you think that CBS had concluded this idea or they brought their information from China, from the source over there? Because China said so. So we are simply following the lead. We are following China because China said so. No problem. You will not be infected. It's not that seriousness. It's not a deadly one, and so on. But still,
Listen,
the
it's still kind
blame
of America's fault.
goes to China. Sorry?
It's still kind of America's fault because it's abnormal to eat bats. They should have expected that if a virus came out from an animal, it would be deadly because it's like new and normal to human beings.
طيب, let me tell you something. This is regarding the American government and the American society. Okay? What about the rest
Yeah.
of the world?
Well, the rest of the world didn't know and after the outbreak of Corona. It's like most
Why
of
we
the
have-
Chinese
why
people
we
were
have no
going to
idea?
America.
Why you had no idea?
It's because China kept it on the low. Like they didn't tell anyone that it's deadly.
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, all of it, all the blame will go to China. And later on, inshallah, and remember my words, later on, when the international community will be recovered from this pandemic, they will try to have some kind of sanctions on China as a kind of punishment. Because if we say that China is 70% responsible of what's going on around the whole world nowadays. Yes, she's responsible. By the way, it's not our title, guys. Back to our lesson. Ahmed Sayed, do you wanna still add something, or you are still raising your hand by mistake?
Sorry, I
No
forgot to
problem.
lower my hand.
So Herbert Spencer, guys, social Darwinism, survival of the fittest. From his point of view, we should eliminate the unfit members of the society. Okay? And he used the same technique of Auguste Comte, cerebral hygiene. Can you remind me what's a cerebral hygiene? Sorry. Cerebral hygiene. Who can remind me?
It's
Wait,
basically
Mustafa.
not
Wait,
taking.
Mustafa. Wait, Mustafa. Wait, Mustafa. Mustafa Ahmed Kamal. Mustafa Muhammad Kamal.
Yes, it's freeing our brain from outer thoughts.
By
Um,
I'm looking for a keyword here
Sir, can I
in your
answer?
definition. Okay.
It's like writing and reviews, like, for example, newspaper, to keep the mind from being dominated by thoughts of others.
Thank you. Omar, do you want to add something?
Neglecting other people's ideas.
Thank you very much. This is my key word I'm looking for. Ignoring and neglecting. So ignoring all of the writings regarding this issue, especially if these writings were against his views. ماشي? Sorry, what's going on? Oh. So cerebral hygiene is simply to neglect or to ignore all of the writings or all of the publications written about this issue in order to clear his mind. And of course, this is from his point of view. And by the way, guys, in the discussion room, you're going to find a question regarding this issue. Do you think cerebral hygiene is a good way of thinking? And of course, you can express your thoughts from your own point of view. Over there in the discussion room, you're going to see a room within the title, your class, and you can simply log in and answer this question. And of course, your participation will be highly appreciated. So this is for Herbert Spencer, guys. Social Darwinism, survival of the fittest. If you remember the first slide of the presentation, okay, here we have unfit part of the society, poor people. From his point of view, while seeing this incident or what really happened in especially London at that time, he said and he published in the newspapers, leave them. Eventually, all of them will be dead. Do not be sad. Later on, the society will be recovered and it's gonna be a good society, a healthy society, because all of the members are fit, because we already eliminated the unfit members of the society. And of course, I'm not talking about what's right and what's wrong here. I'm just explaining his point of view. Okay, guys? Herbert Spencer. Karl Marx. This guy is a problem. Have you ever heard his name before? Karl Marx. Can you tell me something about him? If you have ever heard his name? Karl Marx, guys, made lot of changes. He inspired lot of generations after him, and he was the main reason for a lot of revolutions around the world. This guy, Karl Marx. By the way, all his life,
Sir,
he lived in poverty.
he,
Yes.
Mr. He have thoughts and theories about the Wall Street and money and like this marketing place.
Economy. Exactly. He was interested with economy and he studied economy. Originally, he was from Prussia, and Prussia is nowadays, who can help me here? Prussia is not Russia. Prussia is nowadays Germany. So originally, he was German. So after finishing his studying, he started to talk about the influence of the economy, how the economy affects the society. The government started to notice, what are you talking about? Are you encouraging the people to revolt, to stand against the economy? No. And they expelled him. They sent him out of the country because of his radical views. So he went to Brussels, Belgium, where he used to work in a newspaper. And he started to talk about the influence of the economy and how the economy will play an important role in shaping the society. So Belgium had no choice except to send him out of the country. No, go out. What are you talking about? Are you mad? Are you a mad guy? They sent him out. So he had no option except to go to the city of freedom, the city of liberty, Paris.
America?
No, not America. He went to Paris, where he can simply express his thoughts freely. And he started to practice his writings in the local newspapers. Eventually, they kicked him out of Paris because of his views. At the end, he went to settle down in London until his death. And he died all of his life, by the way. He was a poor guy type. What about his writings? What about his radical views? He said that economy had a great influence upon the society. From his point of view, all the societies around the world are simply classified to two major social classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. That's it. Wealthy people and the poor ones. No such a thing called middle class, rich and poor. That's it. All the societies around the world. The bourgeoisie or the wealthy class owns the means of the production. Of course, they are wealthy. They have factories. They are businessmen. So they are wealthy enough. And they are controlling the poor people. The poor people are simply working for their living. This is not a charity work, guys. This drawing here is not a charity work. This is only to try to focus on the wealthy people, the bourgeoisie, and here are the workers. They are giving them the enough payment for their living in order not to be rich like them, while they own everything in the world. Okay? So from his point of view, Karl Marx, how we can end this dilemma, how we can end this conflict by doing one thing. And this thing will be the proletariat will simply overthrow the bourgeoisie. The proletariat will be united together and they will start to overthrow the bourgeoisie. Okay? So he wanna get rid of the wealthy people in the society. Then we will create a classless society. There is no classification, no ranking in the society. All of the people living in the society, all of them are the same. And every single one living in this classless society will contribute according to his ability. So what's your ability? For example, what's your profession? You are a doctor, you will contribute in the society as a doctor. You are an engineer, you will contribute in this society as an engineer. In return, you will be rewarded according to your needs. Let's determine your needs. For example, you live or your home is next to your work, so there is no need to have a car. But if your work is far enough from your place of residence, so the society will give you a car, no problem. There is a need for a car. You have only one children, you do not need a car. You have 3 children, oh yes, you must have a car for your transportation. So every single individual in the society will contribute according to his ability, and he will be rewarded according to his needs. This is the classless society. And by the way, his views influenced a lot of generations after his death to revolt and to have revolutions. One of his famous sayings, in bourgeoisie society, capital is independent and has individuality, while the living person is dependent and has no individuality. Because of his radical views, because of his radical writings, guys, he was kicked from almost every single European country he used to live in. Karl Marx, this guy is a problem. And I think now, guys, we have reached the end of our lesson. We're gonna continue our title, inshallah, our lesson tomorrow. Thank you, guys, and until we
Thank
meet
you,
again,
Mr.
have a
Mustafa.
nice time.
شكرا يا مستر، اشوفك على خير.
شكرا يا أستاذ. شكرا.